What it do, snackers, snackets, and snack extras? It's your boy Gage. Jokes is in the building.
Yo,
Who's in the
yo.
building?
Yes, sir.
For this snacks weekly.
Today?
Today is the first day of the no 5-minute countdown, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I feel like it went fairly well. You know what I mean? Kind of messed us up personally a little bit before we got in because we're so used to having like a 5-minute bumper
Yeah.
that doesn't really. What's up, Kai? I asked him to work on some stuff for us and get us some new songs for different shows and things like that. And Kay's been at it. You know what I'm saying? So, jokes.
Yes, sir.
Got a job to do. Get the Beacons link up for everyone. Drop it in the chat so everybody knows how to go and follow us. As we exploit the pop cultures across the interwebs. Sin, you got a job to do.
Yeah, so let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis Mbe, and Kermit Ferguson. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
Indeed, we do. Again, Patreon, one of the best ways to support us, for sure. But never hurts to hit the like button. Certainly doesn't hurt to make sure you're subscribed to us wherever we are. That would include Spotify. The majority of the content that we create is available on Spotify as well. So search Loading Snacks. You should be able to. Really helps if you rate us there and give us a follow there so you get notified when the shows go live. And, again, if you can't tune in live like we do this, or when those recordings go live, say on YouTube, it was easier for you to just listen or do it on your commute or something like that. And by all means, please do so. Now, having said that, jokes.
Yes, sir.
I do believe that of the three of us on this show, you are the only one that has secured a pre-order for a Switch 2. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sin, I think I understand correctly that you do still want a Switch 2 and you want one at launch. You just weren't able to secure
Correct.
pre-order? Okay.
Correct.
All right. And jokes, you got 2 pre-orders?
Just one.
Okay. Sorry, man.
Here's what it is.
You know what I'm saying? So jokes, I saw something interesting today with regard to the Switch 2. Did you see that Nintendo updated their user and their end user license agreement?
I did hear about that. I didn't read it, but I did hear about it.
Okay. Who told you about it?
That was, well, I guess I say I saw the article and I didn't read it. Maybe. So I think that was GameSpot. I don't know which one it was that posted about it, but I just didn't read it.
Well, I mean, almost everybody has posted about it in some manner. It's interesting. I'm gonna read actually from GameSpot. This says breaking this new Nintendo clause could make your Switch 2 unusable. Nintendo doesn't want anyone tampering with its hardware. This is by Darren Bonthoys. This is what it looks like. How you say your last name? I certainly hope I didn't butcher that too badly. So Nintendo's updated its user agreement and privacy policy ahead of the Switch 2 launch next month. While the company briefly listed a few of the changes in the email it sent out, one of the big changes might have escaped your notice. A new clause related specifically to unauthorized use in quotes, and other keywords like bypass in quotes and modify in quotes. In the US version of the email, gives Nintendo the right to make your console unusable if it discovers that you've broken any of these rules. By Stephen Totillo, GameFile, the wording on the license for digital product selection has been amended, saying, quote, you acknowledge that if you fail to comply with the foregoing restrictions, Nintendo may render the Nintendo account services and or the applicable Nintendo device permanently unusable in whole or in part. So, what do you think this actually is?
So we know a lot of people like to mod their devices to be able to use like emulators and things like that on there for it. So I almost think this is like a direct go. I would say for the most part at like that particular group, especially if they're trying to crack the Switch 2 to be able to, run whatever GameCube, whatever it may be on there for it. Some people just want to get the OS to be able to mess around because obviously it'll be a new OS to be able to go in and do things to it. But definitely cracking down on like those emulator folk that love to do that.
Yeah, does that seem about right to you, Sam?
I think for the most part, yes. I think that's what it sounds like to me. And also, I think with them having to move more out of their comfort zone, like with the whole chat thing now and stuff like that, like they're gonna have to get more online with stuff. They're just finding ways to do what Nintendo has always done for years with their stuff and try to keep it such a tight hold on it as possible. I think it's just one of the ways that they're looking at doing that going forward as they grow.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think a lot of people, for the most part, everything that I've read, all the articles that are up are basically saying this same thing, that it seems to be targeted towards the modders and so forth. And we know that Nintendo has a history of going hard at
100%. Yeah, streamers, modders, all that stuff. Yeah, they come at them. Guns blazing.
So we know that. What the underlying community and chat boards and so forth are sounding off about and kind of going on about is how the wording basically is, in a sense, them saying you don't actually own the Switch. It's not yours, right? It still is Nintendo's property. A lot of people don't like the idea that, like, if I buy this piece of hardware and I own the hardware, it's mine. I should be able to do whatever I want to it. And that their opinion of it is that Nintendo should not have the right to then take away their ability to use the hardware. Which, I guess I agree with. If in fact, you are in some way actually if you own the hardware. But whether or not you own the hardware will be questionable if somehow the end user agreement is making it so that that's not the case. And I don't know that they can really do that. So I do think that they could, for all intents and purposes, make it so that nothing Nintendo will run on it, right? That the operating system won't work, or they could take your Nintendo online account and cancel it, brick it, make it no good.
I feel like that's the way. Like, do it that way. Like, just shut down like the account so you can't go online and nothing like that with it no more. But the system, leave the system alone. Like, they pick out $800 for this thing or $1,000, whatever. But it's expensive ass piece of hardware. Like,
they don't care. Like, you spent that money.
I know they don't. But yeah, making sure I can't play their games and stuff like that online. Like, shut down all the services, no updates, none of that stuff. Yeah, just.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that traditionally what Nintendo has done is they put, I call them an update bomb. They put essentially an update bomb in like one of their highest selling games. You buy the game, put the game in, or you download the game, and once you install the game, that game forces an update to the console, where then if it finds that there's stuff in the operating system, in the hardware somewhere that's not supposed to be there, it then kicks it out, which I also am not completely positive is totally legal, right? Like for them to use something else to do a sweep of the hardware you own to see if there's something else on it. Although if they're saying the software is ours and you just own the hardware, but if I install a different piece of software on there too, or something like that, how are you? Again, you're not allowed to reverse engineer. You're not allowed to,
I was
again,
gonna say, do the attachments like matter? So let's say like you get an extra TV dock. They have one downstairs, one upstairs, but it's not a Nintendo brand one or whatever. Like it's one made by whoever, Seagate or whatever. Like, is that going to count as doing something that they don't like and bricking your system?
It's totally possible. I mean, they're allowed to, right? Because and that's not new. I mean, there have almost always been clauses for almost all hardware manufacturers in terms of game console makers where it says that if you're using unauthorized equipment, whether it was a controller or like one of those fans, remember when the 360s and were running real hot and there were companies that were putting fans and all that. Cuddy said, "Am I tripping? I hear a fan in the background. I'm not used to hearing background noise." That's jokes.
Let me see. I actually don't have a fan going on, but it's probably because of the mic. Hold up.
Yeah, I mean, I've been able to hear it since we got in, but so that's not super new, Sin. And as long as they're able to determine that something that you have used or connected to their software isn't official, technically they can do something like that. So yeah, I mean, I guess if you had a dock and once you start running USB and HDMIs, that's all digital, and they can detect what that signal is and kind of where it's coming from. They should be able to read whether or not it's something that's official software or not. So realistically, yes, it could be if you buy a secondary dock and that dock is not
licensed. I guess be the word.
Nintendo license, right?
Yeah, it's not licensed. It doesn't necessarily have to be that it's from Nintendo, but I don't know that Nintendo ever actually allowed anyone else to license docks of any sort. So, it could be something that they do. I think that we're probably looking at a couple of years out before we see something happen in terms of people's stuff getting bricked or something like that. However, what I will say is that I think that Nintendo is also probably concerned that they are a little bit more susceptible to some of that stuff because of what you said, Sam, because they're trying to do a few more things online and kind of open things up to chat and, doing that kind of stuff. And so, it's a possibility that they're just like, they're probably very unprepared for what it could be like to have somebody actually care enough to hack their systems.
And I think just by this news coming out, people are gonna do it just
because
day one. Day one.
I mean, as long as they can get them, you know what I mean. It might not be day one because of what availability is like, but it's gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen. There's no two ways about that, right? But I also think that part of what's happening is these companies. Hey, Nana. These companies, not just Nintendo, but Nintendo, they're using emulators. Like all of that stuff that is, in the Nintendo online shop.
Yeah.
And whether it's for Sega Genesis, whether it's GameCube, whether like they're using emulators. And in some cases, they have taken and used emulators that were made by other people illegally, and they're using. It happened with like the original Wii. When they were doing some of that stuff. So, I think that they know that they're going to be more open, probably in some cases, to having people be able to hack it and make changes to it or do something that they don't want them to do. So, the most interesting thing for me about this is that language is specifically only used in the United States version of the agreement. They did update the agreement for like the UK and other places, but it's not the same. That is specific to the US. So again, that could be a legal thing, right? In terms of what they're allowed to do. What up, K Dizzle? It could be that just the way the laws work here, they're allowed to say that kind of thing or do that kind of thing, and it could just be a very different kind of battle for them if they had to try to do that over in the UK or whatever. But the language didn't. The language did change, but it's not the same over there. So it's going to be very interesting to see. We are already, especially as far as video games are concerned, in what I would say is a long fought battle, as things have progressively gone more digital over whether or not you have ownership over your stuff. And I don't know if you noticed now, but like when you go to buy something in the PlayStation store, the Xbox store, you're not allowed to, it doesn't say buy it anymore. They had to change the language because you don't own it.
You're not, you don't actually own it now, yeah.
Yeah. So they had to change the language and they had to make that clear because they were sued. Right. So California ended up passing a law that made it so that had to be the case. They have to make it clear when you are quote unquote making a purchase that you are not gaining ownership of it. You are essentially paying for a license to utilize the software for as long as they decide that the software is usable. And so if we're now talking about going into a world where that's the same thing for the hardware too, that's kind of crazy.
That's crazy.
That's kind of crazy. But you know, it kind of is what it is because software and hardware are kind of becoming ubiquitous, right? Like the hardware doesn't really do anything at all without the software. So unless you're in a position to like totally open it up and change out all of what's in it in the guts anyway, which in that case, why are you buying a Switch 2? Why wouldn't you just get a Steam Deck where you can already take it apart and do all the things you want to do anyway? You know what I mean? Like I don't really see what the purpose of doing that would be. While we're on handhelds, this wasn't originally part of the plan, but I don't know if you guys saw the leaked photos for the Xbox handheld last week.
No,
I did because I think it was sitting next to one of the ROG Allies, if I remember right.
It actually is a ROG Ally, but it has an Xbox button on it, so it is believed. It's a really dirty picture. Like the unit looks like trash. Like it's got stuff all over it or whatever. But it literally looks like a ROG Ally. It is made by ROG, and it could be right that this is the direction that we're looking at. Like we know that Microsoft has confirmed that they're going to do a handheld. It looks like we may see something this year. If ROG is who's doing it, if essentially what we're looking at is an Xbox OS, then the true ability for Xbox to continue with a campaign that says everything is an Xbox, this is an Xbox, it's really just a matter of having the OS there so that you can boot directly into that, you know, that Xbox ecosystem, and it basically looks exactly like it does on an Xbox console. They recently did updates to PC to make the PC version of Xbox look a lot more like the console. So it's again a bit more ubiquitous. If essentially you have something like that and that button just does that for you, which again, like right now, we don't know what the button does, but it does have a dedicated Xbox button.
Right.
Other than that, it looks just like the regular ROG Ally, except it's black, and the ROG Allies are usually white. So what's up, Heather? So yeah, just interesting. You know, look, I didn't want to dig too much into it, but we're talking about handhelds, and you know, now I brought up the Steam Deck, so I was like, might as well, you know, talk about that. It's interesting. Again, they're leaked photos. Who knows what the final thing is really going to look like, or even if it's going to be called or stated as a ROG, but I think that it will be. That's my thoughts on it. But I think it's a smart move as they continue to try to find ways to put the ability to play Xbox games in front of people. We also didn't talk last week about the fact that Gears of War is coming to PlayStation. So Gears of War Reloaded was announced last week. coming to PlayStation. It is a remaster of a remaster.
Remaster of remaster. Yep.
But it's cool. I think for the people who have never had the opportunity to play it, if you've been a PlayStation person your whole time and you've heard people, now the other GOW is also on your console, right? So God of War and Gears of War, both there. And realistically, if I had to guess, and I do have to guess because this is what we do, the next Gears, I'm a little surprised that they didn't just do like a compilation.
The whole collection,
And do like
essentially.
at least the first
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
For it to just be the first one is a little strange. But that's on the heels of Microsoft coming out and saying that they were the number 1 publisher across PlayStation and Xbox consoles like the last quarter or whatever it was, right? Like they're the number 1 publisher. I mean, they own everything. So
Right.
But that still is a major thing for you to be able to tout to your shareholders that it doesn't really matter what platform you're on.
Yeah.
We're the number 1 joint. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of when you throw in Activision and Bethesda and even their own Microsoft titles, and they're the number 1 publisher. And that's really hard to argue with. So them being able to do that, and then also finding ways for people to be able to play games without you having to purchase a console is like,
especially when Nintendo's coming out and bricking stuff. You know what I mean? Just you don't have to worry about that. You can do it right from the TV, right from your tablet, right from the laptop. Yeah, right from the cell phone.
Hey, dog, when you start making your controllers almost as much as consoles used to cost, you know what I mean?
Not elites, just your regular console.
Yeah, but also just like, think about it. If you're able to play Xbox games on your TV without a console using a PlayStation controller, what's up, KB? Using a PlayStation controller, they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Give us those dollars per month. Give us your information, your email address, your location. We know where you're playing. We know what you're playing on. And now we can just soft suggest that phone you also have, you could also continue playing this game on that phone. Oh, that laptop that you use the same email address on, let's just soft push. You could be using this. Cuddy said a coworker mentioned Gears Emergence Day is dropping at some point. Young Marcus and Dom, y'all know the release date. They haven't given a release date for it yet.
One trailer.
There was a trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did the trailer last year. Was that Summer Game Fest or was that? It all runs together.
Yeah, Summer Game Fest. Yeah, some E3 fake. Whatever.
It was kind of like their one last thing that they did.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding, there were people who were guesstimating that it was going to be sometime this year. I don't think that's happening. I would imagine that it's not actually coming until sometime next year. But if you're going to do Gears Reloaded and you're going to drop that this year, it's coming out in like a couple of months. Mm-hmm. If you're going to do that and you're going to put that on PlayStation, and then you do Emergence Day, it makes more sense to get that's the only reason why it makes sense to only do the first one, because when you get them to play the first one, then you do the game that's the prequel to it, you get people more bought in. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you played 1, 2, and 3 and you find out what happens, going back to E-Day would be crazy. So it actually does make sense to all right, play the first one, get through it, learn who they are and how the camaraderie. Then drop E-Day, which takes place before that,
and then you can
learn
do
the story of how they
3.
got there.
Yeah.
Then they drop 2 and drop 3. Hey, dog, when they get to part 2, bruh, then
problems.
They're gonna be hurting.
Oh yeah.
So it's actually pretty
whole new crop of people going through it all over again.
Everybody might be willing to go through it all over again. And then, truthfully, it could make the significance of Gear 6 matter more.
Mm-hmm.
long run, right? Depending on how they play it. So to get people to then go in and go through and play 5, or honestly, in the next couple of years or whatever it's going to take for those things to happen, if people are really enjoying it that much, if they like, I mean, you're talking about like full crossplay or whatever and all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. If people are enjoying it that much and they're like, you really want to play the newest joint, the whatever. If they don't have to buy a console, but they can still jump on Game Pass on their TV or on their PC, and they could just run Gears 5 and play the newest, most updated version of the multiplayer and all that kind of stuff, maybe it actually feeds people into that. So
True.
I know that there's a method to the madness.
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially when you decide to remaster a remaster. You know what I mean? And you just, slap some additional 4K assets on it, and they did specifically call that out. So, we'll see. On that note, speaking of Game Pass and all the stuff Microsoft owns, Doom: The Dark Ages. I don't know. Jokes, you're not a fan of Doom, right? Like you don't.
I've never been fully into Doom.
Good. Sin,
I have
you're a
fun.
Doom dabbler?
I'm a OG Doom guy. I came in off the original PC. Played heavily the first few ones and just kind of faded off over the years. No hate or nothing like that. Just there's other games that I'd just rather be playing at times. So that's all.
I get it. Like I said, Doom dabbler.
Yeah.
I also consider myself one who dabbles in the Doom. I'm not super into them. I never played them on PC, but I certainly played the PC versions on consoles when they came.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff led me into like Unreal Tournament and like all that kind of stuff, right? I just arena, just running around and shooting and jumping to stupid heights and dumb weapons or whatever.
Mouse and keyboard. Dave.
Absolutely not. But but I got you. The last few Doom games have been, I feel like, pretty special to kind of take what Doom is and update it and make it still feel like Doom. Just how visceral it is and how fast it is and how just kind of run and gun, but you can still run out of ammo. You got to do health pickups, which still feels antiquated. Like health pickups is really...
Yeah, I can't just go hide around this corner real quick for 5 seconds.
Let my health bar go back up.
Like, go back up. I gotta look for something. Nah.
To take what Doom is and take the Doom Slayer, given what I honestly feel like for the first time is a real story. Like I know that there's a story to Doom, but so what? For real, to take the Doom Slayer and put him in this kind of weird, like sword and board world, but with like they're on comms and they got spaceships and they're like and you shooting demons like the demons from hell are coming to take over, and they're mad, and they're having conversations about the Doom Slayer like he's the second coming, and we gotta do something. Like literally when the game starts, they're like, look, you got us out here on this BS. What we supposed to be looking for ain't out here. We only got a few minutes. They're gonna send them in. They're gonna send them in. You know what I'm saying? And sure enough, I mean, again, you see the dudes out there with swords and boars and big axes and all that or whatever on comms, like yo, we need help. Send them down. You know what I'm saying? And they like, we trying to hold on, but listen, if you don't send them down, all this precious stuff that you got that you need to power what you got up there, they talking to Slim on a satellite. It basically looks like the Watchtower from Justice League.
Okay.
Talking to Slim like, you better send Slim down here or you gonna lose all your juice. I send him in. They beam that dude down from a satellite like they fired a shot at the planet.
They did.
Bro, you hit the ground, dog.
Superhero pose.
Shield, bro, shield and a shotgun. Get out of my way.
I'm about to say he was done
Do
off
you
of
hear
that.
me?
Give the double
Do you
S's.
hear me, dog?
Shield and a shotgun.
Don't start me with a shield and a shotgun. Shield and a shotgun. And then they just like, if you lock on and you hit the fire trigger, if your shield is up, right? So you block with the left trigger. If you're blocking allows you to like lock on to an enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can pull the trigger and you just charge them, shield bash them. They're like, you just shield bash them. I'm like, okay, cool. What I didn't know was that when I hit Slim, he was going to explode and everybody around him was also going to explode. Oh,
Even better.
Captain America. We could do this all day. Bro, I haven't I've only completed the first level. The first level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like in here, dog.
Okay.
They did all the things I need. It feels like an old school, almost like an N64 era. Like you have a map, you can hit the button, look at the map. There's secrets areas to go find.
Okay.
Go kill a certain person, find the key, go back to this area, open the door, go in there, get the little collectibles, dog. Walk into a joint and I'm like, what is this in front of me? They drop a joint down. I walk over to it and they give me the Gatling gun. Give me just swap between the two. Okay.
Sure, why
Okay.
not?
You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like, all right. They give me a gauntlet so I can start meleeing people.
Mm-hmm.
But the gauntlet has ammo. So you gotta find the little fist ammos.
Mm-hmm.
Running around and they got the glory kills and bruh, it's just like I'm shield bashing these giant dudes, step back, shoot them a few times, they get dizzy. Dudes riding on this big demon joint. I go to do the finish on him, finish move on him. Slim throws the shield off his face like Captain America, catches the joint. Hey, dog,
Hey, listen, that's what got me when they showed that trailer. That shield was the thing. It was like, okay, Doom, you speaking to me right now.
Hey, dog. I'm just mowing guys. Just mowing them down, bro. Just shooting them and exploding them and exploring and looking for things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like the big arenas, when they start really sending a bunch of dudes and they got like different types of enemies or whatever, all you got to think about it a little bit. And
Right.
They sent a couple dudes down that had shields, and I'm like, all right, I'll deal with you.
Right.
I'm gonna kill everybody. He's not even the toughest enemy on the joint, but the Bams with the shields, I'm saving you for last. I'm a savor this everybody else. I'm all around Slim, just wham, shield bashing and shooting and firing and switching. Gatling gun for you, shotgun for you, shield bash for you, pants for you. I'm out here I'm like, oh, this is bad, bro. I'm having a really good time. And I have other stuff to play.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Game Pass, dog.
Mm-hmm.
The beauty of Game Pass. I'm talking about like old school. Like on the first level, I found a secret. And I just walked in. It was like, oh, here's a new skin for one of your guns. And I was like, oh,
Got him.
don't do this. You know what I'm saying?
Locked in.
Now I have to keep playing because I have to kill people with that skin on that gun. Like, what do you mean? I don't have a choice. It's just, look, here's the thing. I'm having a great time. By no means am I in love. It looks great. It feels good. The movement is solid. You're running and jumping and climbing up walls and, clambering up stuff you don't normally do in even really like a Doom game. So I do like that they are taking Doom and they are exploring other ways to do FPS within the same family of games. And it's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, dog. Just get to the end of the level. They tell you, once you sit down on this Gatling gun, the level is over. You can't go back. Like there's no going back once you get to this point. Man, if you don't let me, I was so mad when I finished that first joint and I missed one collectible. Now I gotta do it again.
Yep.
I gotta do it again and I gotta find it. because I swear I cleared I was all over that map. So now I gotta do it again.
I go back and do it.
No, don't do that to me. Don't show me that I completed the joint and I'm at 86%. Who you playing with? Don't play with me. Why would you do that? Don't play with me. I'm 100% kind of guy. Gotta go back clear it. You know what I'm saying? What they didn't do that would have made it even worse was if they gave like ranks. If they gave it like, oh, you got an A rank, but you could have had an S rank.
That's right.
Like, wait a minute.
That'd have been.
You mother.
Because that's the piece right there. You know what I'm saying?
So close.
Fastball, new joint.
Ooh.
Listen, it's not a curveball because I'm not throwing this at y'all out of nowhere. I had a conversation with you guys yesterday or whatever, gave you a heads up. This is what I want to know from you. What are 2 video game franchises that you would love to see combined into one game, one franchise, whether you change up, if it's an RPG and an FPS, if it's whatever, give me 2 franchises you just feel like you need to see come together and what kind of game you would want it to be. Jokes, you told me you did your homework. I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah, so my 2 franchises, Mass Effect and Assassin's Creed.
All right.
So
what would the name of it be?
Oof. Oh, you get that part.
The Assassin Effect.
Yeah, Assassin Effect. Okay, so give me the breakdown. How does this work? Mass Effect and Assassin's Creed.
So I feel like there's certain elements of the 2 franchises that kind of would meld very well together. So with Assassin's Creed, we're including Animus, we're gonna throw everything in the mix of it. Being able to essentially, be in one time, doing, things that kind of will change the future, or you're reliving the past stuff that's happening into the future. But when you add the elements of the Mass Effect into it, I was thinking like how we have like 2 protagonists currently. You get 2 protagonists, one that's in the past and one that's currently in, future Mass Effect type of era. But as you're playing through with the past character, certain decisions, certain things that you do are going to affect how things play out when you get to the future.
Which is very Mass Effect.
Now, granted, with time and all that we can have involved in it, I feel like this type of mix-up would also work vice versa. So still some things happening in the future. Like obviously this is like a multi-game type of thing. You get down to the but like you could probably change some things that happened in the past. But one thing that they haven't fully done in Assassin's Creed is like being able to like bring a lot of the characters together. I feel like when you combine these type of stories together, you could see where you could have like these multiple different characters with they're assassins, but they have these different skill sets. So you start mixing the assassins with like biotic powers, sentinel power. Like you start just intertwining that with like their different weapons and things that they have. Ooh, could be a problem.
So are like the folks in the future and like the Mass Effect like side of it, like their future, are they like going to different planets and finding like an Animus that's there?
You could take it that step forward. So at this point, the Templars are universal. So this is not something that is just
interplanetary Templars.
Interplanetary, like you're flying different planets trying to get this thing figured out for us. So it can really expand out how that story could play out. It makes it that much gigantic. Like I don't want to say that it's an infinite type of thing, but like with different worlds, different planets, different creatures, different like there's just different ways that you can go about and explore for it. Obviously,
who would you want to have make the game? Like obviously, Mass Effect is BioWare, is under EA. Assassin's Creed is Ubisoft. Who would you lean into to be the ones to actually make the game? Would you trust BioWare with that in terms of like what they do with the role playing? Are we losing the role playing elements of what Mass Effect is and leaning more into like?
I feel like we'll lean more towards BioWare's RPG elements type of thing. I do think we can still incorporate, like a leveling system kind of like, you go in, you enhance your different skills that are in there. So I think you can kind of intertwine that in there. I feel like I would like. Oh, that's a difficult one. For the sheer fact of the way of the Mass Effect thing, I think I would want BioWare to handle it. Definitely working in partner with Ubisoft as far as like the story, some of that development, like that type of stuff. Was by all means, BioWare has done it, with the exception of probably one title. I think they've done an amazing job, pretty well with the stories, with the Mass
Yeah.
Effect franchise. But I think the two of them can make a very, I think, almost like a super realistic thing that could happen in real life. Like these two companies, they'll never do that. But like, I feel like
I
the two of
mean,
those,
EA could buy Ubisoft. Well,
dude, let's
Ubisoft
not
now
do.
thing with Tencent, but
But
the
Mass
same.
Effect and the Assassin's Creed worlds combined, I think, could be an absolute amazing time.
I think that's actually pretty solid selections, sir.
Interesting.
Sin,
Yeah.
what'd you come up with?
Like a Dragon franchise and Tekken franchise. I'd fuse them together. I think the
Mm.
characters can work well within a fighting game. And like when I think of like the fighting games, I feel that style works very well, in my opinion, with the Like a Dragon universe with Kiryu and all them. I think that the way Tekken does it will work very well together. I think there's enough unique characters within both franchises to kind of have some epic matches. And with the serious / silliness of both games, they can create a story built around, all those characters they decide to put in and things of that nature. I would even put a side, like, it would be a fighting game, but I would do like a side mini type of game where maybe everybody could run around Camarocho and with people in the streets, whoever have little side missions to gain new
Like
like
the
gear.
way they have done in Tekken games.
Something like that, but
Tekken
make
had,
it
like,
based around running around and like a dragon, like one of those
Camarocho.
popular cities like Camarocho. Yeah, going around and beating up dudes, unlocking new gear.
We're not running around Hawaii, dog.
No. You got to go with the original. You got to go with the OG hometown. You got to go hometown. No, not Hawaii. That's only been one game. No. You got to go with hometown rules. So for hometown, go around, do little side missions or whatever, beat up stuff, get like new outfits and stuff like that, or gear to change your character's clothes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do. I know.
So it's a fighting game.
Yes, and it's base. Yes.
Everybody gets a 10 hit. Crazy multi-grab combos.
Yep.
Fighting game first and foremost.
Yes.
With a secondary joint built in that kind of builds on, again, like what they've done with some of the Tekken sides.
Even like Street Fighter 6 running around the city and doing stuff like, just something like that. Yeah, you can do it on the character. Yeah. No, like
so
stuff
have like a. So would it be a separate story mode? Like, is that a story mode then? Like Street Fighter was. Street Fighter had like, it was like a separate story mode. It was a creative character, and then you have a story mode or whatever.
It probably probably the story mode will more so maybe carry out through that. Could possibly.
So are we maintaining the RPG elements of Like a Dragon?
No.
So even in the side scrolling beat 'em up stuff, that's not there. It's just
maybe a small element to it, but it's not focused around that. It's focused around.
It's not turn based.
No. It's run around. You catch little thugs talking trash in the street. You whoop up on them. Meet up with somebody and I need help with such and such. Go help them out. Whoop on them. Get like a new baseball hat for somebody or something like that. Like just.
Are you only doing it with one character? Or are you like so you're not building a team then? Like you doing Like a Dragon. You don't have a team. You just pick a character and you run around and you fight. You beat people up with that character, and that's just like how you open new outfits, and then you can use those outfits in the actual fighting game.
Yes.
Portion of it, but get the Sega folks in with the Tekken folks.
Yes.
And why not Virtua Fighter?
I thought about that because they do a lot with Virtua Fighter, but I think, in my opinion, I just think Tekken just feels and works better for the franchise.
Hey, did you see the Virtua Fighter drop? The video that dropped like 2 days ago?
No, I didn't see that one. No. Excuse me.
So listen. So here's the thing. It's longer than you want it to be. But go ahead and pull it up. Watch it. And the only reason why I didn't include it with this is because they didn't break out the only part of the video that I would really want y'all to watch. But you know how like they redid Tekken 5. They re-released it to Steam, added it in. So they did an announcement over the weekend, like Sunday night on Mother's Day for whatever reason. They dropped a new trailer for it. Talked about the fact that that game itself is now coming to consoles, so it's not just going to be on Steam. Bringing it to consoles, full crossplay, all of that. They got me. I got to buy that joint. I need that joint in my life again. I love Virtua Fighter, but then they started showing the updates for the new Virtua Fighter game that's coming out, and they decided to showcase Wolf. And Jokes, you're probably not familiar. You're not really familiar with Virtua Fighter, right? But Sin, you a Virtua Fighter.
Oh yeah.
You know who Wolf is.
I know Wolf. Yes.
Hey, bro, they gave my man a whole wrestling intro, and they specifically call out in the joint, like they talk about why they picked him, why they did the joint, what they did with him, and how they're making him a heel, giving him a whole heel turn story.
Oh.
The joint's dope, bro. Like, yeah, they got him with the beard. That joint. I was like, all right, bro.
Like that. That's kind of piqued my interest a little bit.
I might be doing something, dog.
I'm gonna be on it when it drops. I'm gonna be on it for sure when it drops.
Bro, I'm in there. I'm so in there. Hey, listen, again, I think those were dope choices. I think those are really good. I'm glad y'all took the time, thought that through. I want to talk briefly about I can't even tell you how many times we've had discussions about movie theaters and what's happening with them and whether or not they're going to survive and what have you. So AMC announced today that starting this summer, starting July 9th, they are going to start doing half price adult tickets on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, half price adult tickets. This is on top of the discounted tickets they have on Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they are not getting rid of Tuesdays. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays, there's going to be a discount for Tuesdays. There's going to be 50% off adult tickets on Wednesdays. According to AMC, this is what they need to do to get people back into the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope it works. I really do. But why are you making that face? Saying you all right, buddy?
I just got to look at Wolf. Like, crazy. I saw something coming through the entry. I'm like, dude, that had the Wolf I remember.
No, he doesn't have the tights.
Nah, he got a
I'm sure he'll have like some original outfits or whatever, but yeah, joint clean looking. Yeah, AMC is again, they're trying to do what they can to, I'm gonna say, save their business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Save theaters in some manner. Jokes, what do you think about this?
I think it's a good play. I mean, from what I understand, so Wednesdays is one of their slower days out of the week. So definitely in a way of trying to get people that normally wouldn't come in on a Wednesday, they're trying to help bolster things, like, by giving them the half price tickets. You're still paying for your popcorn and everything. But I think it's a play to try to get more people back into the mix. I think it's a good play because it's better half off than no money at all. So definitely getting people to come in and at least coming up that may. Now, the side of that, other reverse to that is, whereas, like, let's say movies obviously come out on Fridays, Thursdays, it won't affect that. But now I feel like maybe a lot of people are going to try to wait from the weekend until like a Wednesday get a half price. Other than like us, so like the group that are like us that just know we have to see it day one because we're just in that element, we're in that realm for it. But when you have like, say, like, I'll use you, Gage, as an example, but like, say, taking the whole family, and you have like 4, 5, 6 people that you may take. You know what? It may make sense for us to wait until Wednesday to take the whole family to see the movie.
Right,
Granted,
Wednesday of the following week.
Right. Now, granted, we still gonna pay an arm and a leg to get all of our popcorn and all that stuff. But when you take the tickets, I don't want to say out of the element, but you're making it half the cost of what it would normally take just for that price to get in. I think it's a good play.
Yeah, I mean, this is not technically brand new. Like, matinee movies have always existed, right? And a matinee movie was always a lower price because typically people didn't go to the theater at that time. So it's not really different than how you're seeing a lot of restaurants, which restaurant chains in the US are suffering. They are dying
Very
and
much
falling
so.
off left and right. And so you are seeing them do things like bring in DJs on a certain night and have karaoke on certain nights to try to fill the space. So even if they don't sell a lot of food, they can sell drinks because they make more money on drinks than they do on food anyway, right? So it's the same kind of thing. Matinee movies were there because they were early afternoon movies, and they were getting people to come to the theater who otherwise weren't coming at all, maybe, right? Or it's a time when we're typically slower, so we sell the tickets at a reduced price and we fill seats because people will come. If we sold them at the same price all day, we don't see that extra pop of people come in, and we don't sell as much popcorn and drinks, which is really where we make our money anyway. We don't make our money on movie tickets. So it's not a brand new concept. The idea of doing it all day for a whole day at half price is different. I have not seen anything that says, I haven't seen any caveats listed in terms of like, oh, it can't be new releases or it can't be,
Anything
it
like
doesn't
that,
say
right.
anything.
I was just thinking that since I just ordered my tickets for Ballerina for the Wednesday right before. Because I was wondering, like, that would have counted? Like, since it's early access type of thing or whatever? Or
I don't think it'll work for early access stuff. So unless, for whatever reason, sometimes like
you do have to be an AMC Stubs member.
Okay, so all right, so
you do have to be a Stubs member.
So then it probably
so
would.
Again,
yeah,
they got to capture your information. They got to know how to sell to you. They got to know how to advertise to you. They got to be able to sell your information to somebody, right? So they need your email address and they need to know what kind of phone you got and all that kind of stuff. So you do have to be a Stubs member in order to take advantage of it. I get it. Everybody's doing that. So that's not super crazy. What I will say is that they specifically also stated that this was a kind of move they could not afford to make until the movie industry seemed to be like it was back. And the last few months have made them feel that way. So if you take Sinners right now, Sinners is the first original movie to break $200 million since 2017. That's a long time, right? Your movies that are breaking that kind of money are always sequels. This is a brand new franchise. It's a wholly new thing, and it's the first movie in that long to do that. Then you look at the slate of what's coming, right? So what we've had over the past couple of months, let's say starting with Brave New World, right? Thunderbolts right now, having Sinners right now, knowing that Lilo and Stitch is knowing that Ballerina is coming. The Accountant 2 is out right now. Like people
Fantastic
are
Four right behind them.
Yeah, that people are starting to get back into that flow of things. And there's some really big hits that are coming. And so they're saying that the only reason why they could afford to do this now is because it feels like the movie industry is starting to hit. What's funny about that is that at the same time, on the Hollywood side of things, they're shutting things down left and right. And a lot of movie and Hollywood production it's just way too costly. So the movies and films that you're starting to see that are really hitting and that are taking off are ones that they're able to do on a modest budget. You're seeing a lot of indie creators like really begin to take that spot and fill that space. Even on the streaming side of things, people are moving to places and moving production out of places like Hollywood because there's a bigger advantage and more tax breaks if they film in places like Georgia, if they film in places like Canada, which now with tariffs, that's going to be harder to do. So now New Jersey has become the mecca of filmmaking in the last 2 years because of what they offer. So they have had more TV shows and movies, even reality shows shooting in Jersey than anywhere else in the country over the last 2 years. And it's because of the tax breaks, and that's bringing a lot of business to that area. Where like in this area, for instance, if somebody wants to say they're doing something in DC, there ain't no substitute for DC. You got to do it. You know what I mean? It kind of is what it is. So they don't really have to give you a tax break, but if you really want to be in the city, maybe they could. What kind of productions they could do in a place like this. those things are kind of beginning to hit on the end, and we've talked a lot about what's happening in the entertainment industry a lot. We talk about the movies and the TV shows. We talk about video games. We talk about the things that we spend our expenses on for this stuff that people create that we spend a lot of time watching, and what it's costing,
Mm-hmm.
to do it, and whether you can break even or not. So, look, I think it's a smart move, because I think if they don't do it, somebody's going to buy the theaters,
Mm-hmm.
or they're just going to close them, because they won't be able to buy the theaters, because nobody will buy theaters feeling like people won't go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So how do you sell an asset like that, right? So we'll see. I don't know if it's going to work out, but if I happen to need to do a follow-up viewing,
Wednesday.
Wednesday it is.
That's the due date.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, Wednesdays, it's going down. Let's talk about some trailers. So we got a behind the scenes drop from Marvel today for Ironheart. I have seen people complaining over the last, I want to say 2 to 3 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
about how Ironheart's coming out in June. We haven't heard a word. Like, there's been no advertising, there hasn't been anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think that, especially with Ryan Coogler attached to the project, with all of what is happening with him right now,
Mm-hmm.
that Marvel would be pushing it a little harder. So it was very interesting to see them do the behind the scenes featurette today,
Mm-hmm.
to say that the trailer is coming tomorrow, and start off with Ryan Coogler, right? Up front, talking about Ironheart and what it is. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
We'll see what it's supposed to be when the trailer hits tomorrow.
Right.
Right now, what it sounds like is what they do, because the trailer leaked like 2 weeks ago. Right now, it seems like it might be the same thing as what they showed like last year, and it might not be much new, as far as that's concerned. And I mean, that wasn't shown to the public,
Mm-hmm.
so it will still be our first view on it. But
Mm-hmm.
what do you think why do you think Ironheart isn't getting even what WandaVision got, or what Hawkeye got, or even what Moon Knight maybe got, in terms of like marketing a little bit further out and kind of trying to get eyes on it?
I'm gonna be real. Like, I think I don't know if they thought that maybe the promotion of it would get absorbed or just ignored because of the fact of Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. I don't know if that played. Like, I almost feel like Ironheart is coming out. Is that before or after Fantastic Four at this point?
Well, when
That's
it comes
before,
out,
because it's June. No, it's June, so
it's
it's
out before.
before Fantastic Four.
Yeah, but it takes place
Mm-hmm.
way back. It takes place
Yeah,
like right after Black
Black
Panther 2.
Panther 2.
It takes
Yeah,
place in 2025. So it's like
it's gotten pushed back so many times, and it's like,
every film that has come out, the show itself takes place at the same time as like Miss Marvel. It takes place before the Marvels. It takes place like, so even in terms of when it's dropping right now, it's out of time for sure. Like,
Mm-hmm.
for when it's coming out. So that could be part of it.
I don't know, but outside of that, it's like I don't know if the budget, because I know they scaled back, money on certain areas and everything, and I don't know if that just they just say, you know what, forget it, just it's going to Disney Plus, forget advertising it, just throw it on Disney Plus. Eventually when you go on there, it'll just be in the slider as showing, hey, coming soon or whatever on there for it. But other than that, I can't think of a good reason as to why it just got like thrown under the rug. Other than the other part that you said, because of how long it's been since this was really truly supposed to come out, it scares me a little bit on how it could potentially look. Don't get me wrong, during like Black Panther 2, I mean, don't get me wrong, things look good at that point. But when you're going to start comparing something that was shot way back then to some of the things that are coming out now, don't get me wrong, the Disney Plus shows, they're already on a scaled back budget in comparison to like your big movies. I know they said that, hey, we're going to spend the extra money, but we've seen where like some of the CGI and things like that aren't necessarily up to that
Yeah,
movie
but
quality.
I think that that's more a result of just like what has happened with the way that they pay out for those kind of jobs and stuff like I think that I think writer strikes, actor strikes, and then in terms of like unionizing for like CG and stuff like that, like we saw the same things happen with, there are several movies that have come out that have the movie budget where even just certain portions of it, the CG is like, dog, what is going on here? You know what I mean? So I don't know exactly that said. I mean, again, taking something that's a 2-hour film and doing like 6 45-minute or hour-long extras, you're getting a lot more content. You know what I mean? Even if it does have the same budget as the movie, but you're talking about stretching that budget for a much longer period of time. You know what I mean? In terms of what you're getting. Sam, what do you think?
No clue, but I'm gonna shoot for the fences on this one. Maybe it has a tie in the Thunderbolt somehow, and they wanted that to come out and the whole name switch of the New Avengers kind of thing first, and maybe there is some tie into back then with Valentina or something like that, maybe coming to talk to her or something like that, and she's waiting in the wings to be brought up into the Thunderbolts or something like that. Like, you got me. Why it's not being pushed unless it's tied into a bigger picture, like within the story of the MCU. Like I said, maybe she's tied into them somehow. Maybe we won't know until it's all said and done, but maybe it's just, that could be a play I can see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, look, even if that was a thing, I don't know that you could do zero marketing for it, even if it was tied to the Thunderbolts. Like, you know what I mean? If like they're gonna do something in Ironheart that's gonna be like, oh snap, she's gonna get a come up to the Thunderbolts. Like,
that's even more than a reason to try to put some stuff out there for it.
Yeah. But again, also the timing, you know what I mean, for when it takes place is like, they first started talking about this and showed it like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's been cooking for quite some time. But again, we'll see what happens with the trailer when the trailer drops tomorrow. I'm not, we'll see what it is. We also, your favorite, Sam, we got a little teaser today. New Superman trailer dropping tomorrow. You excited, buddy?
Fuck no. Come on, now. You're gonna ask a disrespectful question like that. No, I'm not excited.
I don't know, dog. It could be really
good. It could be really good.
And I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Jokes. Well, hold on. I don't know if maybe I want you to run the trailer.
Yeah, no. Let Sin go ahead and.
Hey, Sin, let's run the Peacemaker trailer.
I'm down with
that. And then
that.
let's come back. Then let's come back to the Superman thing.
I don't know if we need to do all that, but Peacemaker definitely. So
I'm just but goof.
They're gonna be doing backflips to get you to join.
Welcome, Peacemaker, or do you prefer Chris?
Either's fine.
Can you tell us a little about your skills?
I'm considered the finest marksman in the world.
The mic is off?
Yeah.
I am also proficient in hand-to-hand combat.
How many more of these do we have today?
Is that popcorn still here?
Love popcorn.
My butt's
Hey.
really big, my nose is down.
I have a variety of helmets.
This guy sucks.
Excuse me? Am I supposed to be able to hear you guys?
Excuse me?
You were talking about your butt and stuff. And also you said that I suck.
It is not funny.
I don't get it. We saved the world.
I thought everyone would finally treat us like heroes.
I don't need anybody else to just forge my own path.
You're living in the worst level of Grand Theft Auto.
You suffer from a particularly
dope.
severe form of toxic masculinity.
What?
Argus has been monitoring Peacemaker ever since Rick Flag Sr. was named director. Does he know that I am?
Kill this time? Yeah.
Bring me Peacemaker.
Mexicali, you scan for any anomalies throughout that house. Pony Boy, don't let him out of your sight. Titties, I want you to take the front door. Encino Man, you take the back door. Got it?
Yeah, but not the fucking names, dude. You can't just call us that.
Where do you think we are? Fucking Berkeley?
We haven't always been great people. But
We are the 11th Street Kids. No one will ever break us apart.
you ready for the next adventure, pal?
Keep on keeping on.
Who the fuck are you?
Oh,
All right.
interesting.
Isn't it though? Jokes.
That was
What's
pretty funny.
interesting about that to you?
At the end, just the two Peacemaker, like, are we going like infinite world type stuff, or like I don't know. Either way, it looks funny, and like it's James Gunn's bag, and it just looks like he's just going to continue to just play around in that world, right? I think that's going to be amazing.
Sin?
It looks entertaining. I'm definitely going to watch it. It looks pretty funny. So I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, look, I have to imagine. Do you remember how Peacemaker ended the first season? Remember what happened in the last episode?
No.
It's time to go back and watch again.
All right, so at the very end, when they were leaving, like they did the battle or whatever at the end, they were leaving.
Right.
The Justice League showed up. Like Jason Momoa, Aquaman, all of them, they showed up at the end of the
Flash. Yep.
However, technically that doesn't exist anymore. But like if you watch the Monsters joint that just came out, like which is essentially Suicide Squad, right? They reference what happened in Peacemaker. And so I think they're doing multiverse in order to like sever. I think that the first season of Peacemaker is going to be canon to the new DCU.
Okay.
But they're going to do something to try to make it so that it was multiversal.
Got it.
And like that, you know what I mean? Because that part of the DCU doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen. I have a feeling that they are going to use Peacemaker or something like this. I don't think they're going to go crazy with the multiverse thing because I think that would just be too much. But I think they may try to do something where they pull Blue Beetle. Because that might be the only thing salvageable from what was technically supposed to be the DCEU, the old DC movie run into the main continuity. You have Hawk Girl and Guy Gardner Green Lantern, who are both in Superman in this trailer. And they are clearly recruiting for, it's not the regular Justice League. This is like the Justice League of America, Justice Society of America. Like they are like a government branch kind of thing. So it's clearly in that world, and it could make the Superman trailer tomorrow more interesting because we know that those two characters
are in the movie. Yeah.
And they have at least shown up in this. And we know James Gunn puts Nathan Fillion in everything. Nathan Fillion has literally been in every single movie. Everything that James Gunn has ever done, Nathan Fillion is in. And will we actually get to see him be Guy Gardner and do Lantern stuff? Will we see the actual wings on this? Mind you, again, the young lady who's playing Hawk Girl is the same young lady that's playing Dina in Last of Us right now on HBO. Are y'all watching Last of Us?
No,
it's cool. It's cool. It's not hitting the same. I'm gonna be honest about that. Like, it doesn't feel like it did the first go round, but I digress. So again, it could very well make this Superman trailer tomorrow much more interesting. So we'll see. You know what I'm saying? They released a short trailer for Spider-Man Noir. I don't really want to watch it, so let's just not. Like, it's if y'all want to watch it, we can watch it. You know, it's coming to Prime. It's Sony, so like,
right?
Yeah,
Shaky.
my trust levels aren't there. People seem excited about it. I don't know if I'm there yet. What I will say is interesting about it is that they said that it is being released on Prime in color and black
and white.
I think that's interesting. I don't know what for.
Right. Like, I feel like if there's a definitive way, I feel like because it's Spider-Man Noir, I feel like you should be watching this in black and white.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's the proper way that you should be able to do it. But
so you're right. Sort of. And the only reason why I give you the sort of is because he works so well with all the bright colors of the animated Spider-Verse films. That, like, if it's color, but like he's still walking, he's always dark and black and white or whatever, but everything else around him is color, it actually could work. Cuddy says Sin City feels the black and white look clean. Again, I'm probably gonna watch it in both, and I may not watch the whole thing in both. I might like watch an episode in black and white and then watch it again in color to see what the difference is, and if I really like it in color, I might do it. And again, the only reason why I'm like, even look, there's a high possibility you're taking the same person who voiced the character in the Spider-Verse. So could it be tied to it? Absolutely. 100% it could be tied to it. And so could they do something cool or show something? Could this be part of the reason why they have pushed the third Spider-Verse movie back again to 2026, right? This is not coming out until 2026. So having it show up in color makes me think that they are working to try to tie those two things together in some way, that you're already used to seeing Spider-Man Noir in color, even though he's always in black and white. So they can make it work. It's just how they do it. And that makes me think they're working on doing that. There was a very, very interesting casting that they did for the new Spider-Man film for Brand New Day that they announced the other day. And the woman they cast, boy, I'm telling you, if she's not playing Miles Morales' mother.
Oh, yeah.
A dog.
Fail.
They're about to do this. They about to do this. So that just tells me we're coming over to live action. And Spider-Man Noir might be the combining factor with that, with Brand New Day. And having it in color is the only reason why I feel like, all right, we might be seeing something here. Whether it's him, bouncing back to his time. It could be episodes where he's in his world and everything is black and white. And maybe there are episodes where, you know, it's full color because he's, again, I think it could be cool if they do it right. Okay, so look, it's about time to wrap up. But before we do that, there's one more trailer I feel like we should look at. Sin, if you would grab that last trailer. We just got the final trailer today for Ballerina. And I feel like we need to take a look-see. Sin's already mentioned it once today.
All right, there's
so we might as well take a look.
Let's share this.
My jokes. I don't. Are you? How are you? What's your over under on action movies for real? Like, are you normally drawn directly to action movies?
I would say about a 7 or an 8, typically.
Okay. All right. Oh, let's find out where this is for you. Let's do it.
When you think of me, you should think of fire.
I know you. I know your pain.
This isn't done until they're dead.
Buena suerte, señorita.
When you think of
Welcome
me,
to the Continental.
you should think of fire.
Those people that you're looking for, they're surrounding this hotel right now.
Risen from the ashes, again and again.
Woo!
That nice thick work, bro.
You are chosen.
Get it, girl.
No, I chose this.
Consequences.
Risen from the ashes, again and again. Again and again. Again and again.
Let's go.
And what, may I ask, is your name?
When you think of me, you should think of fire.
June 4th. Let's go. Ticket already purchased. I've been there.
Only on the 4th, it seems like.
Hey, dog, I'll be honest. Well, hold on. Have either one of y'all seen Nobody?
Nope.
Yes, I have.
All
Definitely
right,
see nobody.
This joint, dog. Go ahead, play it. Go ahead, play it, dog. This joint.
You don't have an average job.
You guys having fun at the convention?
Drop out the wood.
But we haven't seen you in months.
Hey, dog.
What happened to your eye?
Somebody found me at the game.
What game?
The one you missed.
And summer break's just a few days away.
We should do something. Strictly family time.
Come on, kids. It can be an adventure.
Hey.
Let's do this.
Hey.
I am just so happy that we're all together.
Hey, city boy.
Hey.
Get out of here. Let's go right now.
I understand. Protect
Oh,
your sister.
nope.
There are
You
other
done.
ways
You
to
done.
handle
Messed
this.
up.
I left my phone.
Yep.
No.
Well, I like your way better.
Club. Whack 'em up.
What the hell, Hutch? On our first day?
I think I stumbled into something.
You're vacationing in an old bootlegging route. Full of drugs, crooked cops, and one woman who controls it all. You didn't take your family there, did you?
Damn sure
You
did.
wanted to de-escalate the situation.
De-escalate. No escalating.
Well.
Guys, I'm not gonna fight you. I'm here on vacation.
Oh, with the anchor. Yeet.
Find this nobody. Scorched earth.
I just want a break.
There's no way you were just some family man.
Hey, he is a family man. Don't you mess with the
We all
family.
have different sides. But most of all, you're a dad. Go fix this shit.
Is that the RZA?
RZA, yeah.
I told you.
On vacation.
Hey, dog.
Hey, I have to. Hey, listen, I'm sold.
You gotta go back and watch the first
I
one.
gotta watch the first one, but
Hey,
that's all.
dog, you need to watch the first joint.
What is that on?
I actually think it's on Netflix.
Perfect.
It might not be anymore though. It's on either Netflix, I think, or Prime. But yeah, you need to watch that joint. That joint's clean. All right, so listen. Now's the time where we start thanking y'all for hanging out with us, and we drag it out for like 10 minutes. Loaded Stacks Movie Club.
Peacock.
Yep.
Enjoy. Loaded Stacks Movie Club movie of the month is Bright. So make sure you check that out. That's on Netflix. It was a Netflix original. Will Smith. This Sunday, we will be at Comic Logic again. We were just there a couple weeks ago for LotCon, which is from 12 to 4. So we'll be hanging out, seeing what's going on there, talking to the vendors, and probably having some snacks.
Most likely.
Do that with them. Jokes, you gonna be there?
I am.
Oh, shucks. Tatiana coming?
Sure enough.
It's a party. It's going down. Make sure we bring the best snacks.
And bump that Mariah Carey.
Hey, the whole way.
Turned all the way up. All the way
on
up.
The side speakers. You know
Windows
what I'm
roll
saying?
down what everybody know we listening to.
Hey, OMC. You know what I'm saying? Now, we also at the end of the month, so May 31st, June 1st will be a Big Lit Comic Con, basically back in the same area, just down the street from Comic Logic at the Dallas Expo Center. We'll be hosting some panels there. So if you make it out that way, come check us out if you see us. Make sure you say hi. So yeah, so LotCon this Sunday, and then Big Lick Comic Con Nova at the end of the month. Sin.
Yo.
Anime chat, what's happening?
Anime chat, 10 a.m. Thursdays. Y'all know what it is. We have a great discussion this week about what's the word I'm looking for? Culture in anime and other places around the world, and how well they bring it to life in like popular mediums, like with Japanese culture, anime. India, you got Bollywood, you have Hollywood for us, and K-pop has this banging music scene right now. So just looking to see if they do a good representation of delivering that stuff outside to the world within those mediums. So, and I did finish my first half of Chainsaw Man run finally. So get into that and how I feel about how it all came to an end and stuff like that. Getting ready to start the second half that's currently ongoing right now. So a lot of fun stuff there. So look forward to that.
Cool. Jokes?
Yes, sir.
In the never-ending world of wrestling.
The never-ending world that is wrestling. Yes. Marcus and myself will be recording a new episode of The Finisher for this weekend. Sin, I'm definitely taking your advice, because I know a lot of people. We had a debut in WWE in the form of Jeff Cobb. So I know a lot of people probably are not familiar with this gentleman, because if you weren't watching New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and some of those others. So I think we may be doing a little bit of an introduction. Well, I don't know why. I don't know. Listen, I don't know why that wouldn't come out into the world of Jeff Cobb.
Okay.
Does he? Is his intro? Does he use Mariah Carey for his intro music?
No. Well, you know what? We don't know yet, because he randomly showed up in the middle of the match, so we don't know what his interest music is yet.
Maybe we find out Friday.
We got to make it happen. we got to make it happen.
What's the song? That's the thing. What Mariah Carey song?
Breakdown with Bone Thugs. That's the one. I don't understand it can't be fantasy, so it's gotta be Breakdown.
You ruined it.
What? What else
Breaking me off down.
Hey, look, that's probably really only funny to me. You said,
Listen, his expression is already selling it for me.
hey, dog, I don't even know who Corn on the Cob is, but he coming in the Mariah Carey breakdown. That's what I decided. You know what I'm saying? So,
Slim built like a Humvee.
it is what it is. Listen, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us this evening. We greatly appreciate it. Really, really love all of your support. Thank you for continuing to do that. We're really kind of trying to push and change some things from a content perspective, especially on like our Instagram. Dare I say we should put Jokes in charge of TikTok and just let him make TikToks all the time, dancing to Mariah Carey. Right, Sam?
See, now it's all coming together.
Now we cooking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I greatly appreciate everybody spending some time with us this evening, like y'all do every Tuesday. We look forward to seeing y'all again next Tuesday. If you need anything from us, shoot us a DM, shoot us an email, type it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Jokes, tell the people what I need them to hear.
Remember, y'all, just because you have a well thought out plan doesn't make it a good idea.
With that, we are out. Tools and Loose.
Loading snacks.